Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to No Name Gaming. My name is Alex Light here at Racing Lights Productions, your home for sim racing. We are live at the virtual South Boston Speedway for the American Motorsports Association's SoBo 150. Last week's race took place at North Wilkesboro for the Wilkes 125 and had a new winner for the first time in 4 races. Colin Allman made his first start and took the victory. Trevor Edwards dominated a lot of the race, again leading the most laps, but Allman was in front when it mattered the most. There were a handful of drivers also making their debut last week. One of the newcomers, Kyle Terzak, hope I'm saying that correctly. Kyle, if I'm saying that incorrectly, please let me know, was the hard charger, moving up 14 spots to finish in 4th. Tonight, we are at a shorter track that is a bull ring style track. The 12-degree banking in the corners and 10-degree banking on the straights creates fast-paced racing and lap times of 15 seconds and faster. Drivers will be fighting hard for the bottom line, some even opting to use the apron to maximize pace around the 4/10 mile oval. As cars are going through their warm-up, it looks like we will have about 20 to 22 drivers taking the track tonight. So as they get ready for the start of tonight's race, let's go take a look at the race results from last week as well as the current points standings. Taking a look at the points standings from not the point standings. Taking a look at the race results from last week. You can take a look and see how things kind of played out. It was a very close finish between Colin Allman and Trevor Edwards, with Thronberg right behind. You had Kyle Terzak moving on up. Aaron Johnson rounded out the top 5. So really close, really throughout the top 10, only 2 seconds separating the top 10. A couple drivers having some incidents. You can see Braxton DeWeese was back 15 seconds, and you had Keniston, Parrish, Vinohradsky, Miller, and Carlson all not able to finish the race. So, some big excitement coming in tonight, back on the broadcast after unfortunately not being on last week. But you can take a look here at the points standings after North Wilkesboro. Trevor Edwards leads the field. He's got 204 points. He's got himself a really good gap here. Even a max points day from Dylan Williams wouldn't get him past Trevor Edwards. So he's built up quite a gap with those 3 straight wins. Second place again. Second place last week in North Wilkesboro. Looking to get that 32 machine back in victory lane. We'll see if it's going to happen here tonight. But taking a look through, starting to see some of those drivers who maybe missed a race or two starting to work their way up through the driver standings. You have Dylan Williams, after having a couple rough races there after the initial 2 races. He's found his way back up to 2nd place. Aaron Johnson is up to 3rd, Leon Keniston in 4th, and Cody Bain hanging out in 5th place right now. So lots of really good things coming up here as well. You can take a look at the schedule. We've got this week SoBo. The next week we go to Lanier, which is the qualifier for the Dash for Cash. That'll take place at Rockingham. So that'll be our 2nd Dash for Cash race, a much bigger track than Southern National that took place at the beginning of the month, where we had our first Dash for Cash. So next week, it's looking like Lanier, unfortunately, will not be broadcasted due to some real-life conflicts for me. Work schedule changing and things like that. We will not be broadcasting that race, at least here. They'll let you know over on the the American Motorsports Association's Twitter if there is going to be a different broadcast. You can check that out, iRace AMA, over on Twitter. You can also find them on Facebook, American Motorsports Association. But taking a look, this is pretty much like the halfway point once we get past Lanier and Rockingham, the halfway point of the season. The second half, we revisit a few tracks. We go to Langley for the first time, which is going to be a really interesting track. Langley, a very flat track, very minimal banking. But then we go to South Boston again. Then we go to Concord, the mini tricky triangle. That should be a really interesting one, and that is listed as a Dash for Cash race. Then we go to Southern National again, 5 Flags, New Smyrna for the first time, and then we finish out the season at Hickory the same way we started. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, Hickory at the season finale will be a night race, so maybe creating some more intense racing. We saw a lot of train racing, a lot of drivers kind of just falling in line at the first Hickory race, maybe a couple bumps here and there to try and make moves on the bottom, but for the most part, it was a lot of single lane, just trying to wait for a mistake and try and capitalize on it. Night race, Cooler track, more grip might allow drivers to make some more moves, especially on the outside line, because we saw that was not the way to go the first time around at Hickory. But the warm-up pretty much done. We're going to get the grid here in just a moment. But if you guys are interested in watching the live timing as well as the broadcast, you can click the pinned comment in the Twitch chat, and you can follow the live timing up to date as to what is happening on track. So when will we see the broadcast for which race? Because all the broadcasts right now are up over on the YouTube channel. Tonight we're having this broadcast, obviously we're right here, and then it'll be posted up to YouTube later in the week. And then, like I said, next week, unfortunately, I will not be able to broadcast it. I know that the AMA is possibly going to be looking into trying to get it broadcasted. I'm not sure about that, though. Like I said, go check that out over on Twitter or Facebook for when if they do post about that. But taking a look, lap times for the warm-up, really interesting. Most of the drivers, only a handful, are over 15 seconds. And even if they are over 15 seconds, it's only about a thousandth or so. So it's going to be some really tight racing. Drivers separated from the fastest to the slowest driver during the warm-up by less than 0.3 of a second. So it's going to be some really exciting racing here tonight. I hope you guys are excited for it. All right, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and check our starting lineup here for tonight for the SoBo 150 at South Boston Speedway. Justin Brooks takes the pole. Alongside of him will be Mike Ashby in the 2 car. In row 2, we've got Colin Allman, last week's race winner, alongside Justin Crowe. Chase Robertson in the 31 machine rounds out the top 5 alongside Spencer Dickinson. Trevor Edwards goes back to 7th place in row 4 alongside Dylan Williams, so top 2 in points alongside each other. Rounding out the top 10 in row 5, we've got Aaron Johnson alongside Alex Greats. Outside of the top 10 in row 6, we've got Jake Grout next to Sean Hayes. Then back to row 7, we've got Kay Green and Braxton DeWeese. Row 8, we've got RJ Williams and Leon Keniston. Row 9, we have Dave Bishner and we have Kyle Terzak. In row 10, we have Landon Huffman and Blake Thronberg. And then rounding out the field tonight, we've got Josh Parrish in 21st. Tyler Hinton is, just in case you do wonder, Tyler Hinton is the league president. He is admitting the race. He's doing race control. There's some new rules coming into place, by the way, for tonight's race. We are implementing an incident system. So the first incident that a driver basically claims or is deemed at cause for, you get marked for that incident, nothing happens. The second incident, you get put with an EOL. Then the third incident, I just want to make sure I'm getting this all correct. It is listed as you will be parked for the remainder of the event. So we'll see how things go with this 3-strike system. It's a new thing, going to be testing that here tonight. So we'll see how it fares. Hopefully doesn't come into play too much. But taking a look here, got Ashby and Brooks. Justin Brooks Designs cars, as you see on the side. RKM setup shop as well, taking the front of the field. So here we go, Green Flag Racing, South Boston Speedway. Barney the Flagman is ready. And we're going Green Flag Racing for the SoBo 150. So early on here, that bottom line, look for that to be dominant as we go throughout the race. You see Brooks gets out ahead here. Ashby following back, drops behind Colin Allman. Colin Allman, last week's race winner, up to 2nd place off the start. A really good start for him. And you can see jostling for position way further behind. We are side by side pretty much the rest of the way through the field. Aaron Johnson working on the bottom there of Spencer Dickinson. Dickinson going to try and see if he can get in line. And it's really tough. You want to try and open up the car on the straights, but there's really not a lot of time to get that car straightened out, because you can see, right, basically as soon as they cross the start-finish line on the front straight, they're already turning back down the track. So you're only getting the car straight, the wheel straight, maybe for about a second. and then you're already turning back down. But single file as we go throughout the field here, 5 laps in, and everybody decides to just settle on into pace here. And we'll see if anybody decides to be aggressive a little bit later, but the leaders starting to pull away a little bit. They've got themselves a slight gap, but not much. It looks like the field's starting to reel them back in. And you just see just some of the chaos, not chaos, but just how close everything is here going on board here with the number 44, RJ Williams. I mean, look at this. It is one long train all the way back through the field. I think probably even hop on board with Josh Parrish back in 21st and see much of the same back there as well. But nothing really going too crazy here. You can see the 24 Dylan Williams going for a slightly different line, allowing maybe Jake Grout there in the 49 to get a look to the inside, but got to be careful. Don't want to go too deep. You would end up sending the guy in front of you trying to do that. And like we said, new incident system, don't want to try and bring out a caution this early in the race. Taking a look a little bit further back here, you're taking a look at the 75 of Landon Huffman. As he gets down to the bottom of Braxton DeWeese, and a good move by Huffman, gets a really quick turn, and is gonna, oh, we got a caution, our first one of the night. That looks like it's Alex Greats. Caught up there with Aaron Johnson. We'll go back, take a look at that 9 car. A little bit of a ding there on the left front. Taking a look at Aaron Johnson. That car looks, for the most part, clean. Maybe a little bit of right front damage. No, the car looks clean, other than just getting caught in that spin. So let's go take a look at what brought out our first caution of the night. So here we go, going back. You can see Grades looking to the inside of Johnson, and yeah, he just tags him. Trying to look to the inside and collects him, gets himself turned around by Spencer Dickinson. And it's no fault of Spencer. He was just trying to run his line here, trying to stay out of the way. But you can't check up too much, otherwise we would have seen total calamity, so... What could have been a really bad incident just involves 2 drivers. Unfortunate for them, but they should be able to get it back pretty quickly. These guys are very fast drivers, Greats. And Johnson have been finishing top 5, top 10 in pretty much every race that we've had so far. We'll find out here in a little bit. So not sure if we're going with if that's going to be ruled as an incident point there for Greats. We'll have to wait and see. He is the back of the field anyway. But the second one is where you get the EOL. So you're going to have to bear with me as we go through this. This is a new thing for me as well. So we're kind of feeling it out together. But taking a look at that early initial stint, we got about 10 to 12 laps green flag racing. Very single file. Not a lot of drivers trying to be aggressive. It is a long race, though. Only 14 laps in now. But it's a 150 lap race. Lots of time to be able to make moves. But with how quick these laps are, we saw at tracks like Southern National, like at Hickory, you've got to set up your moves pretty early if you want to try and make a move towards the end of the race. It's a long race, but the laps tick away fast, especially if you get long green flag runs like we've had for some of these races. Some of these races we've had 50, 60, even 70 lap green flag runs. Maybe that'll be the case here tonight. And we go green flag racing again as Justin Brooks takes us through the restart zone. He's off, and a little bit of a connection issue there from the 67 of Allman. He's going to be able to pull ahead of the 2 of Mike Ashby. So settling back into the way we were for 1, 2, and 3 at least. You can see Robertson right back behind in 4th. And then Trevor Edwards has worked his way up a little bit into the top 5 now. You can see drivers just being patient here. Further back, though, they are 2 wide, and one driver right now struggling, getting stuck on the outside is Spencer Dickinson. He is currently dropped 4 spots from his starting spot of 6th. Is back to 10th right now, and is continuing to drop here as you've got Kyle Terjok on the inside, currently fighting for that hard charger, and should be able to move up that extra spot to gain him an 8th spot here for the day. And now you've got Blake Thronberg also going to the inside, and just no gap here as you continue to see Spencer Dickinson drop to the field. Landon Huffman now going to be a beneficiary of this. Leon Keniston is next in line to try and get it. It just kind of seems Spencer Dickinson going to just kind of let this happen, see if he can find a gap. He might get one here between the 55 of Josh Parrish, but not going to, as that gap closed up very, very quickly to Spencer Dickinson. You know, kind of just counting your losses at this point. Unfortunately, dropping his way through the field pretty quickly. Up at the front, though, and Trevor Edwards made some quick moves, and he is up to 2nd place. Colin Ullman stuck on the outside now, so Trevor Edwards, fastest lap of the race, trying to see if he can continue that push here, see if he can take on Justin Brooks. You can see some of those drivers opting to take the apron through turn 4 on the exit to try and get a little bit more of a narrow exit and try and maximize your acceleration. You can see he's going for a very... Oh, that was an interesting line, actually. We haven't seen somebody go that far onto the apron. He goes really late through the corner, really wide, to try and shoot that all the way down onto the apron. An interesting strategy here from Trevor Edwards. We'll see if he goes for that again. Yeah, he's going to just kind of stick it, sees it doesn't really work. We'll see if maybe he sets that up later. But right now, just settling in 2nd place for Trevor Edwards. Throughout the rest of the field, some drivers fighting here. Dylan Williams and RJ Dylan Williams and RJ Williams. I was making sure I had that right. But the Williams pair going at it together here, but it looks like Dylan Williams is going to fall back behind RJ Williams. It's going to be 9th place for him. RJ Williams worked his way up 7 spots so far, but your hard charger would be that right now of the 28 of Blake Thronberg. He is currently up 9 spots in 11th. Is Leon Kennison going way down to the bottom of the track there, trying to stay on the inside of Landon Huffman. He's going to try it again as he gets down there alongside the door. Huffman's going to have the exit speed, and that's going to be enough to clear the 93. Landon Huffman, another one of those drivers charging through the field. He is up 7 spots as well, starting back in 19th, trying to see if he can continue that climb up towards the front. Taking a look at some of the drivers caught up in that first incident. We saw Aaron Johnson there just a little bit ago. He is behind Leon Keniston in 14th, but here's Alex Great. After going to the back of the field, has worked his way up a little bit to 16th. So not his best. He's still just kind of waiting it out. That's the big thing. This track, it's really tough to make moves just because the bottom is just so dominant. We saw this with Hickory. We saw it with Myrtle Beach. A lot of these short tracks, it's a fight for the bottom, and so while it is very early to start using the bumper, sometimes when you're a driver that has faster speed, like we've seen Alex Grates, he is a top 5, top 10 driver at most of these tracks. Gotta try and make moves, especially if you want to get to that front, try and compete for the win. You don't want to get held up back here, because we've seen the end of the race can be some chaos. As we see Aaron Johnson trying to make an aggressive move. Oh no, that is the inside wall. He caught the tires, but it doesn't look like the car took damage. Don't know how, but that car is going to be drivable as the pace truck decides to go right on through him. But we'll go take a look here at what happened on the exit of 2. It looks like he might have gotten tagged that brought out that caution. So he goes down to the inside of the 93, and you can see really deep entry. He goes all the way onto the apron, and it's right around here. He comes back up, a little bit of him and Keniston just trying to contain the same space. It looks a bit of a racing deal to me, just trying to get into the same space, and that's an aggressive move from Aaron Johnson, going all the way down to the bottom of the track. You go down to the apron to try and make that move, and the apron is fair game here. But a very, very bold dive doesn't pay out there for the driver of the 1 car. That might be his days. He's going to go at least a lap or 2 down. Looks like the damage is pretty significant, even though it isn't showing it here on the car. Yeah, now you can see some of it on that right front, but still For how hard he hit that tire barrier, I thought that was going to be one heck of a dented nose, but the front end of the car fairly clean after that hit, somehow. Very surprising it is. So Trevor Edwards has worked his way to the race lead. We missed that watching the fight in the back of the field. And I wish I could say I'm surprised by that, but he has led the most laps on the season, has the most wins. He's got 3 on the season. Had 3 in a row, actually, until it was broken up last week by Colin Allman. He's looking to make it, winning 4 of 5 here tonight as he's back up front. Taking a look here through the field, some other drivers that have made some big moves so far. You've got Sean Hayes. He currently is up to 5th place after starting back in 12th, so he's quickly been working his way through the field. You also have RJ Williams, who's up from 15th to 7th. Kyle Tershock, last week's hard charger, is up to 9th. Blake Thronberg right behind him. He's up 10 spots right now, the most in the field. He's up to 10th. And then Landon Huffman is up 8 spots as well, up to 11th position. Again, ready to go. Green flag racing here. Base truck's going to head off. And the field is in the hand of Trevor Edwards as he takes off very quickly. He's going to try and get to that inside and keep Justin Brooks from having any opportunity to make a move on that bottom lane. And he's going to lock down first place. But now the fight for third place. Behind, we've got the 2 of Ashby fighting Ullman yet again. Colin Allman pushing really hard on that outside line. Gets a really good run on the exit, but it's not going to be enough to clear. He's still stuck on that outside, but can he get that to move as the tires starting to get comfortable up there, it looks like. The top, that middle lane starting to wear in pretty well. That groove seems to get there as this race has been going on. Some of these tracks, that groove just hasn't quite gotten there, but it's been moving really nicely here for the 67. As you can see, still pushing that outside line. Can he get there and get up to second place yet again? Justin Brooks giving him a really good fight here as you go on board here with the 67 of Colin Ullman. You just see now it seems like the grip, the tires heated up, and it's just not quite as grippy as it was just a couple laps ago. But he's still holding on really well alongside Brooks. We haven't seen many drivers on the outside line hold on as well as we're seeing here, but Trevor Edwards, if you're looking at this in the rear view mirror, you're very happy about this. It's keeping them occupied and holding them up instead of trying to get onto your back bumper, but it looks like he is going to be clear here. Almost clear. Give him maybe another lap or 2. If he keeps pushing the way he is, he'll be clear of the 33 machine, and that'll be a second place for him. Further back in the field, though, you can see it's spread out a little bit, and then we get this whole bunch from about 10th place back to, we'll say, I think 13th, 14th. They're bunched up real good, only about a nose length there in between. As you can see, oh, a big move here by the 22. That is Thornburg. I keep saying Thornburg. It's Thronberg. It is Blake Thronberg trying to make a move on Landon Huffman. And what a move to the inside as he makes Huffman move out of the way to the outside line. And now Parrish and Huffman alongside each other, trying to fight for what is 11th position. And Parrish trying to see if he can get that bottom line to stick, but it seems like as this race is going on, that top line getting faster and faster. Huffman a little bit of a wiggle out of the corner of 2, but is able to clear Parrish. So we'll see, is that top line starting to come in? Is that going to be the passing lane? As we saw Ullman pass up there, now we saw Landon Huffman pass up there. I wonder how many other cars are going to try and make those kind of moves as we go further on in this race. Back up to the front, though, it is spread out a lot. Trevor Edwards is over a half-second gap now to Colin Ullman. And then back almost another half-second, we've got Justin Brooks. So there is a massive spread here. At least for this track, it's a massive spread. About a second now from first to third, and almost it's going to be a second here from first to second here in just a few laps if Colin Ullman can't maintain that pace with Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards right now, fastest car on the field by about 1/10 of a second. Some of the drivers further back able to keep pace with him, but they've got to make some moves to try and get to the front as we are now 50 laps into tonight's race for the SoBo 150. Going further back in the field, Alex Greats trying to see if he can make a move on Landon Huffman. Looks to the inside on the corner, not going to get it, but Josh Parrish on the outside makes a really good move. And again, that outside line seems to be the preferred passing line. It's not the preferred driving line, but a lot of these drivers finding some success passing on the outside lane rather than the inside. Very defensive, though, from Landon Huffman on the inside line, going all the way down to the apron. Very early entry as well. You can see even getting a little bit of slide in the back tires to be able to stay ahead here of the 9 car. And going on board here with the back end of Landon Huffman, you just see all over his back bumper, all you see is the purple and white here of Alex Greats. Going to dive down to the inside yet again. So that left front damage does not seem to be affecting the 9 car as he is running really, the 13 car as he is running really, really well. I thought he was the 9. I'm not sure why it's showing up as 13 on the timing board, but it is what it is. But you can see behind lots of drivers just trying to be patient, waiting for an opportunity. Is almost getting the bumper there to Landon Huffman. He gets really close there and is going to try and make a move down to the inside of turn 1. Not going to be confident enough to send it, though. Still waiting here to make his move. So Great being extremely patient. But you can only be so patient as time is running out. We're over a third of the race through and quickly closing in on the halfway mark. And it looks like this is going to be our long green flag stint as he does make contact with Huffman. And that is going to be our 3rd caution of the night. That's the 2nd driver that Alex Greats has turned. So we'll see if he gets the EOL. The 2nd race incident. That was a very aggressive move. We saw the patience wearing thin from Alex Greats, trying to make lots of moves to the inside, but just couldn't get that car to stick. Finally decides that he's going to pull that trigger on Landon Huffman. Taking a look here from the wide angle here, you can see what brought this caution out here. A good runoff, and yeah, he just gets underneath it, lifts to 75, and turns him in. Not much to say about that other than that. I mean, taking a look here, let's go right on board with Alex Greats, since we saw it from the back end of Landon Huffman. So Huffman runs a little tight in the middle of the corner, but yeah, Greats just turns him on the backstretch. That's all she wrote. Landon Huffman, the car looks good, but we saw Aaron Johnson bring the car in after he got turned in a similar way. But he also hit the tire barrier. Landon Huffman just hit the inside wall, and it didn't look too bad, so we'll see how he's able to run. Unfortunate for him because he was up to 11th place, up, I believe, 10 spots on his starting position, and now has to do it all again as he's going to be in the back of the field here. He is going to bring it down pit lane, so we'll see how bad that car is after that incident. But it looks like, yes, Alex Greats is getting served the EOL there. So he is at the back of the line. So he'll start at the end of the longest line on the inside. And we should be ready to go green flag racing next time by. Getting close here to the halfway mark. And taking a look here, I see some of you guys rooting on for Braxton DeWeese. So let's go take a look at him here. Braxton DeWeese, currently sitting in 17th. Not his best race here so far, but still plenty of race to go as we still aren't halfway. We're starting on the inside line here on the restart. Row 9, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So stacking him up yet again. Too wide. Colin Allman, can he make that jump? We'll have to wait and see how well he can time this. That outside line has been good to him. We've seen Dustin Monbourquette several times try to get the outside lines to work against Trevor Edwards. But green flag racing yet again. And we will see here between the 67 and the 32 what move is going to be made here. Is he going to try and fight for the race lead? You see behind the Justin Brooks Designs cars both fighting there for position for 3rd place. Trying to get that spot on the podium. Ashby has not been there for most of the race. He's been hanging out in 4th and 5th place. Trying to see if he can get there now, but the caution is out. Looks like Jake Grout got turned around. We'll see what caused that one to come on out. So taking a look here further back in the field. bunched up all over the place. He gets a little loose. It almost looks like tight, and then got loose and just got turned around. Let's take a look at that again. You can see here as they come around 1 and 2. 31 comes down a little bit. That is Chase Robertson. But he just got a little tight. It looks like a little bit tight on the exit. Caused him to have to check up, maybe, and then 31 just got into him. He had the exit speed. And not really much that 31 was able to do there. Came up right into his space. We'll see what the ruling on that will be, but the 49 car looks like got some good damage there around the left wheel well on the rear. The one thing I'm kind of surprised about here with tonight's race, the cars have been very durable. We've seen some hits on the inside wall and stuff, and they just haven't been beat up too much. Kind of surprised by that. I figured with how hard some of these cars have hit, like Aaron Johnson's car, we saw Landon Hoffman, and that right there with Grout, I figured we would see more damage on these cars, but no, they've been fairly clean. Very, very surprising. Did Braxton get up in that race, in that hit as well? I didn't see him make contact. Well, hopefully the cars that did make contact with Grout as he was turning didn't take too much damage. Like I said, it's been kind of surprising that we haven't seen a ton of damage on the cars here for those that have taken hits. They've been very durable tonight, and other nights where we've seen them be kind of like plexiglass. Like Myrtle Beach, if you guys remember back to that race, those cars were very fragile. So a little bit of a surprise here tonight. Getting ready to go green flag racing again, though. It'll be lap 70 when we get ready to go green. Trevor Edwards going to lead the field around once again. And here we go. Ace truck is off, and the field is in his hands. It's a good jump, and here we go. Green flag racing yet again for the SoBo 150. Around to turn 3. Colin Allman still there on the outside of Trevor Edwards. He made this work earlier on Justin Brooks. Not going to stay there, though. As you see Edwards get the stronger exit. Now Colin Allman has to fight Ashby behind. As Ashby gets there, he's on the inside just for a moment. That exit speed, though, from that higher line benefits Colin Allman greatly, as now Allman hoping to stick with Trevor Edwards is further behind. Sean Hayes moving up a spot, is now on the outside of RJ Williams, seeing if he can get into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. Williams trying to get that bottom line to stick, just can't seem to get that speed around the middle of the corner. As you can see, that outside line very strong, able to carry more speed, but it's the preferred passing line. You don't see a lot of drivers staying on that outside line. You don't want to open it up for somebody to make a dive down the inside line. Further back, we can see still 2x2. This is the fight here for 10th place. Dickinson and Justin Crow. Crow in the 86 on the outside. Not going to be able to stay alongside Dickinson for too long, as you can see, on a little bit behind. Alongside now Leon Kenniston. On the outside line, though, you've got Crow, Parrish. Looks like Cade Green is back there as well, and maybe it was Alex Great. Lots of drivers there on that outside line trying to see if they can make it work. We've seen Parrish make passes on that outside line. We've seen Greats make passes on that outside line. You can see, oh, that is a sideways Leon. There's 4 in a row. That is a parking lot in turn 2. And just dominoes there as they went through turn 1. One got tagged, then the other, and then the other. And that's the problem when it's tight racing like that. The cars just bunch up. And I was just talking about how the cars were very durable. Yeah, that went out the window there. As you can see, the 86 of Justin Crow is pretty crinkled at this point. But let's go back. That was a big multi-car incident. We'll go to the blimp view for this one. And you can see here the checkup into turn 1. Right there, Justin Crow gets into the 93 of Leon Kenniston, causes him to check up, and that's when everything piled up. It just looks like a traffic jam in New York City there. And a couple drivers able to avoid it, going to that outside line, but Grout gets tagged, and Landon Huffman gets tagged. So some drivers getting the worst of it. You can see Justin Crow's car not the cleanest. Some guys look like they were able to get around unscathed. Like Landon Huffman got a little bit of damage there on the left front. It looks like Cade Green's car pretty clean, but let's go through. We crossed the halfway point. Let's go through our mid-race break where we run down the entire running order and let you know where your favorite driver is out on track. In first place right now, we've got Trevor Edwards in the 32. Second place is the 67 of Colin Allman. Third place, the 2 of Mike Ashby, and then he has his teammate, 33, Justin Brooks, right behind. And then rounding out the top 5, Sean Hayes, who is in the 99 car. Outside of the top 5, we got RJ Williams in the 44. Then you've got the fight for the hard charger right now. In 7th place, we've got Tyler Tereshak, who won it last week. He's currently up 11 spots. And behind him, I'm sorry I keep messing up your name, but it is Blake Thronberg. And as the timing board says, 28, but on track, he's the 22. He's up 12 spots, currently the holder of the hard charger. Dylan Williams is in 9th. Spencer Dickinson, after having a bit of a struggle earlier on being stuck on the outside, has moved up to 10th place to round out the top 10. Josh Parrish, another driver fighting for hard charger, is in 11th. Alex Grates in 12th. 13th, Landon Huffman. 14th, Leon Keniston. Justin Crow in 15th. 16th, Cade Green. Chase Roberts in 17th. Jake Grout in 18th. 19th, Dave Bishner. And then Braxton DeWeese is in 20th. Aaron Johnson looks like he has parked it for the day. But ready to go green flag racing once more. Can Colin Allman finally make a move for the lead? He got it done in North Wilkesboro, trying to see if he can make it back to back. He's alongside Trevor Edwards here on the restart. We've seen this story before, though, many times with Trevor Edwards and teammate Dustin Momborquette, who unfortunately not here tonight again, is out there on the outside. But Momborquette has said Trevor just has such good speed and consistency on the inside line. But it looks like Colin Allman has figured something out here on the outside. Is a little bit of a struggle into the corner of 3 for Trevor Edwards. Is Allman still there, but how much longer can he hold it? That pace on the outside line, will it stick? Are those tires going to start to wear on the right side as they start to heat up after that restart? Still alongside, he's about at his door at this point. You can see further behind side by side, but the battle for the lead still going strong as we're trying to get another race leader. Colin Allman getting a little bit closer to the front, almost side by side as they go into turn 3, but gaining some momentum, almost dooring as they go through the corner. And he is still just about at his front wheels as we see him get a little bit more exit speed. Is going to be almost even as they go into turn 3. Can't seem to get that little bit of extra pace from the corner. And the caution comes out. That's going to kill all that momentum that he had gained. And we see another time the 9 car turned around. Chase Robertson also involved in that one. So let's go back and watch that replay to see what brought out our 6th caution of the night. Taking a little bit look further ahead here, you can see Alex Grates. Oh, he hard brake, and Landon Huffman says, I will return the favor from earlier. So, it's a little bit hard to tell. Kind of looks like that might have been a little bit of payback here from Huffman. You can see, let's right on board with him. As you see going into turn 3, he lines up right behind him. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but that might have been a, hey, don't mess with me. Because he had all that lane on the outside line. We can watch it one more time here. We'll watch it from the blimp cam here so you can see Huffman. You can see, yeah, he drops low on the track. He wasn't happy. You could hear it over the driver radio. Was not happy with the move Alex Grates turned when he turned him. Decides, I'm going to return the favor, though. So that was not a very polite way to drive there from Landon Huffman, but, I mean, it is what it is. Short track racing, tempers are going to flare. Hey, what's up, Drew? Is that Justin Brooks? It is Justin Brooks. He is back there in 4th place right now. We've got 61 to go under caution here for our 6th caution of the night. But some really good racing here so far. What's up, Tim? Hopefully you guys are having a good night. But getting ready to go green flag racing, I would believe, next time around. So we'll see. I believe that is Landon's first incident for the night, so he will stay in his position, currently 12th place. But lots of incidents coming from further behind. Drivers up front have been able to keep it very clean all night long. You can see some of these cars getting beat up a little bit. Getting ready to go green flag racing, though. Why don't we go ahead and turn up the mics on track and give you all the sights and sounds of South Boston Speedway. As we get ready to go green, it'll be 59 to go. We hope you enjoy the sights and sounds of SoBo. Caution is out here on track. You can see we got a right front of view of that caution. We will go back and pull up that replay, but it looked like that was, I believe, Sean Hayes maybe getting loose, or was that I think it was Sean Hayes, but we'll see that again here. A couple cars getting involved in that one, but let's take a look here around the 99. Just as I said, it's the commentator's curse, I think. Drivers keeping it clean up front. RJ Williams just accidentally tags him, and unfortunately, that probably ends the 44's race. Braxton DeWeese getting involved in that. He has just been a magnet all night long. Let's take a look here from a wide-out view here in the blimp. There's a lot of cars getting involved in that one. We saw it buckle all the way back to about 15th. So Sean Hayes racing in 5th at this point, gets turned by the 44 of RJ Williams. You can see a couple drivers trying to check up on that bottom line, and that would be Kyle Tereshak almost getting sent into the tire barrier. Thankfully, he was able to save it to 22 of Thronberg. Caused a lot of issues there for him, giving him a good bit of damage on the back end. A couple drivers also getting tagged in. Grout just can't seem to keep that car out of trouble as he gets rear-ended once more. Like I said, Braxton DeWeese, another one of those drivers, just has not had a great night. It's been a lot of trouble for him. He's bringing the car down pit road. You can see that front end is beat up really bad. That right side beat up a good bit. The left rear, man, there's just pretty much everything. It's getting to the point this car's going to be a modified as he drives it around, but hopefully he's going to be able to keep that car together, because it seems like as we keep going throughout this race, temper's starting to flare, patience wearing thin. And we'll see if he can keep that car together. Maybe find himself back way out, because he was one of our, if you remember back to Five Flags, one of our Dash for Cash racer, or sorry, Southern National. Sorry, again, my race, the Five Flags race was the qualifier, but back to Southern National, he was one of the Dash for Cash drivers. So he was able to get himself into that top 4 at Five Flags and had a really good run. And was really close to getting up there at Southern National, just wasn't able to get that race win. That's where we saw Trevor Edwards get his 3rd straight. But get ready to go green flag next time, this time around, sorry. Gonna be Trevor Edwards in the race lead once more. Can Colin Ullman finally get that move done on the outside? We've seen him try time and time again on the restarts. Goes for the jump. Colin Ullman able to time it pretty much perfectly and trying to do everything he can to stick with the 32. But we've seen those tires as they heat. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. That's going to allow Brooks to get it 3 wide down into turn 4. It's going to be Brooks on the inside line as you see Allman back out. Brooks still down on the inside line, trying to get to the inside of Trevor Edwards, see if he can come up even. It's going to be Edwards with a little bit of exit speed. We've seen Allman work that outside line. We've seen Edwards stick on the inside. He hasn't had to run the outside line since he's taken the race lead. As they get next to each other, Doring going into the wall. It's 3 wide, 4 wide, going down the backstretch. How is there this room on South Boston? It's not going to work as they go sideways. It's going to be a parking lot in turn 4. It is total chaos on track. Holy cow, and you can see not a very happy Justin Brooks. He is going to call it a day. And that, wow, 4 wide. I didn't think you can force a 4 wide on a track like this. How? How did those cars fit? I'm at a loss for words. We're gonna go back. We're gonna slow this down because that affected almost every single car on track. We'll see this from the blimp view here. And this is where it all set up. We're going to go back just a little bit here. I want to go back to coming out of turn 2. It's where you see the 33 got a little loose into the corner of 1, slid up into the 32, and then you see the 51 just try and take advantage of the gap, hoping maybe they were going to wreck into the wall. But as the 33 saves it, he actually hits down into Allman. And then, yeah, they just stack up and it becomes a domino effect there. And it was a fight for the bottom line here. As you can see, everybody trying to get low. They try to lock it up and it comes back down. And Landon Huffman caught in that one. It looks like Alex Greats narrowly avoids it. Cade Green, Sean Hayes. Grout gets tagged again. Just a whole slew of drivers making contact with. Let's go back now. Watch it back at full speed here. So you can see the whole effect. It just absolutely crazy. At least it shows if you really wanted to be ballsy enough, you could make it 4 wide. But I don't think you would ever want to. Look at RJ Williams. He almost full sent on the outside line and made it work. But you can see the 3 also caught up again. And he's been another driver, even though he's been hanging out in the back. Lots and lots of incidents for him. Just seems to be caught up in every time there's a checkup. But there's a big mix-up here on track now. So taking a look at the running order, we'll go through the top 10 real quick. Mike Ashby is in first. He's back up to the front now. Trevor Edwards second. Blake Thronberg third. Josh Parrish worked his way up to fourth. Dylan Williams in fifth. Landon Huffman in his beat-up 75 is in sixth. Leon Keniston in 7th. Alex Great is somehow up to 8th. Cade Green in a 9th. And then Justin Crow has worked his way back into the top 10. So this is going to be interesting as we get ready to go green. The field in the hands now of Mike Ashby as he's going to try and maybe cause Trevor Edwards to jump the start, but is not going to. Edwards still on that outside. We saw one Justin Brooks car get into the 32. And it looks like Trevor Edwards is going to just be patient here with 42 to go. Oh, wow, we went only a couple laps. Caution back out, and it's that point of the race. Lots of incidents happening now. It looks like Spencer Dickinson got turned around on the front stretch. Cade Green involved in that one as well. So our 9th caution of the night after a very long green flag. It seems to be the case as the race gets later to the end. Patience wears thinner and thinner. Let's take a look here. We'll go from the wide angle here. Sean Hayes gets into, yep, and the problem is this track with how close it is, how fast you're pushing. Oh, that is unfortunate there for Spencer. But how fast you're pushing, it just is really, really tough to check up. You don't have, you can check up, but if you check up, you're getting into somebody else. And you can see again, take a look, Cade Green, just a little bit of slower entry. You see Sean Hayes not expecting it, gets into the 19. That turns him around and just a little bit of a domino effect further behind. Let's take a look here on board with Sean Hayes. You can see from his point of view, kind of what he's looking at here from the 19. He was able to carry more speed, but yeah, it was a little bit of an unnecessary move from Sean Hayes. So only making it about a lap there before the caution comes out, and looks like Spencer Dickinson needs to get some more money there to be able to afford suits for his pit crew. Taking a look, his very interesting outfit there for them. So after that restart, no big changes there in the top 10. Pretty much everybody stays the same. But taking a look through the field here, taking a look at some of the cars that have been involved in some incidents. You can see Braxton DeWeese, that car is beat up. Colin Ullman really got damaged there after the big wreck, pretty much the big one of the night, even though it seems like each wreck just seems to collect more and more cars. But that 67 really took some good licks. That front end, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that car overheat with how that crinkled in. Even the car in front of him, the 51 of Kyle Terzak, he was running really, really well. It was a very impressive run, and he has now gotten caught up in both of the last two wrecks. So hopefully he can keep that car clean further on. But Mike Ashby controls the field coming around for the 9th restart of the night. It'll be 36 to go once we go green flag racing again. So we'll see if he's going to be able to hold on to the lead against Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards, a little bit of a damaged car. Green flag is out, and here we go. Green flag racing once more as he dives down to the inside line, looking to hold on to that race lead. Trevor Edwards is going to go for the crossover. He is going to be down on that inside, and he's going to be able to stick it through turn 3. Will Mike Ashby be able to make that outside line work? We've seen drivers try it. Some have been successful, but against Trevor, nobody has been successful on the outside line. What a run through 1 and 2, though, for Ashby. That is going to be a clear for him as he's going to have it. And, ooh, Edwards tried to move up, thought about it, but didn't. He backed off just in enough time to keep from making contact for Mike Ashby. Clear, a wreck from the front would have surely brought out chaos amongst the rest of the field. Taking a look a little bit further behind here, the battle for what is 6th position between Leon Kenniston, Landon Huffman, and Alex Grates on that inside line. Kenniston's going to clear Huffman as Huffman trying to see if he can make that outside line work. He was earlier, but that car has seen a lot of damage. You can see that front end beat up a good bit. That right front's taking a hit. That left front has a little bit of damage. He's got some damage on the side. And these two have some beef with each other, but I think they worked it out after Huffman decided to send Alex Grates into turn 3. Because they're racing pretty clean and respectfully here. Huffman's going to try and get clear and down to the inside, but it's not going to happen as now Sean Hayes gets a little loose on the exit of 2. Is going to be on the inside of Huffman. Looking to see if he can move himself up into 8th place. Further behind, side-by-side battle for 10th place, Justin Crow, RJ Williams as we cross the line. 30 to go, really tight here. These cars have been beat up a good bit now as both drivers just been caught up in the past several incidents, side-by-side, dooring each other through turns 3 and 4, trying to see if they can work their way back into the top 10. Crow is going to be able to hold on to it for now, as you see Grout now trying to see if he can move himself up into 11th place. Look a little bit further behind, you've got Braxton DeWeese, and you got Colin Ullman as a checkup gets Colin Ullman turned around. And that is going to be his race, I would think, because now he has been turned around for, I think that's the 3rd time at this point. I didn't catch you at turn. It looked like maybe it was the 51 of Kyle Terzak, but we'll go back and look at that again and see what really brought that caution out. Yeah, it was Terzak behind it, but it didn't seem like there was a checkup. Oh, that's what it was. It was the 49 of Grout got loose on the exit. That's where he had to check up. So that's what caused, unfortunately, we saw Ullman get turned around. That is going to bring him back to the end of the field yet again. So taking a look at some drivers that have come down pit road. It looks like Chase Robertson has called it a day. Justin Brooks called it a day as well. Spencer Dickinson is going to be, it looks like 2 laps down now as he gets the lucky dog. Colin Ullman, though, back here, you've got Cade Green also beat up. Dave Bishner, he just hasn't had himself a great day. He keeps getting caught up in incidents. So a wide mix of drivers have kind of cycled through the field a little bit at times. Jake Grout, also one of those drivers, he's gotten caught up in a few incidents here and there. But right now, 2 drivers to take a look at. They're the Hard Chargers and competing for a race win right now. Blake Thronberg in the 28 or the 22 as you're looking at it on track. And then you've got Josh Parrish in the 55. Josh Parrish has won the Hard Charger Award before. Trying to see if he can get it again. Maybe even get his first race win. But right now, Mike Ashby is holding that new race winner. He can hold on for the final 22 laps once we go green flag racing. But it's not an easy feat, as we've seen. Trevor Edwards fights really hard. He's willing to do every single move to try and make it around. But it's been tough racing right now for pretty much everybody in the field. As you've seen, drivers, it's getting really testy out on track, trying to do anything you can to make a move. Lots of drivers trying different lines. Drivers just trying to make everything they can work out of a car that's just not working. And you've seen, I mean, we saw Landon Huffman, that outside line worked beautifully for him earlier, but now that car has been beat up a lot. You see RJ Williams, Justin Crowe, Sean Hayes, they've been through it here. These cars are basically glorified modifieds at this point. But 22 laps to go. Ashby, Edwards, Thronberg, Parrish, and Williams are your top 5. How is this going to play out? Are we going to go green to the end? Green flag racing once more, and what a jump by Trevor Edwards as he stays even. He timed that perfectly. We are even through turns 1 and 2. We're even onto the back stretch. Is Mike Ashby on the bottom, Trevor Edwards on the outside. The fight for the lead is hotter than ever as Trevor Edwards trying to see if he can get back to the front and claim a 4th win on the season. Ashby able to get a good run through 1 and 2, and it just seems like Trevor Edwards just doesn't have that speed on the outside line as he sends it into 3 and 4, making me sound stupid there as he gets amazing run onto the front stretch. Gonna pull him alongside the door, but can he get that extra momentum? It's not gonna happen there. Looks like Ashby trying to get clear, just can't seem to get that car far enough ahead to be able to open up on the front stretch, but you want to be careful. If you clear, we're going to see what Edwards did earlier as he clears it. Oh, never mind. Edwards makes contact. He's turned around. Massive wreck. You've got the 24 of Dylan Williams on his side. And we've got somebody on their lid. That's RJ Williams in the 44. Mass chaos behind that. Like I said earlier, there's such little time to react on this track. And you're so bunched up that anytime there's some sort of wreck, that it just becomes a track blocker. So taking a look at Trevor Edwards, we'll go take a look here. Let's go to the blimp view and just kind of how this one checked up. So he came down, was going for the crossover, it looked like, made contact with Ashby, tries to back off, but then nothing Thronberg really can do because he's right in front, and then the rest of the field is just right there. Dylan Williams gets sent to the inside, to the outside. He even got airtime. I didn't realize he got up off the ground. Some drivers going over others. Now let me see RJ Williams get flipped over onto his lid. I'm having a good time watching Sean Hayes just turn it backwards, trying to just get clear of everybody. That's hysterical. That's hysterical. That's funny. So, I believe our 10th caution of the night. Sorry, 11th caution of the night. Big shakeup again now in the top 10. So taking a look, let's go through our running order right now. Through the top 10, Mike Ashby, Blake Thronberg now into 2nd. Josh Parrish moves up to 3rd. Alex Greats makes his way to 4th place. Landon Huffman 5th. Trevor Edwards drops back to 6th. Kyle Terzak somehow avoided all the chaos and moves that car into 7th. Cade Green up to 8th. Colin Allman up to 9th. And then Jake Grout rounds out the top 10. So I don't know how some of these cars have worked their way through the field the way they did, surviving the incident, surviving some of the chaos. But it's going to be an interesting fight for the end. For the first time tonight, we're going to see Blake Thronberg fight for the race lead. Same with Josh Parrish. What can they throw at Mike Ashby as he's been holding on very strong against arguably the fastest and best driver of the league so far throughout this first half of the season. And is Josh Parrish going to have anything on the inside line? Is he going to try and make a move here on the start? You can see him trying to get that throttle moving, trying to see if he can test the tires. And a very quick jump by Mike Ashby, going to get him clear. Thronberg as they get onto the front stretch down into turn 1. He's going to be clear as there's bumping and banging further behind, but we're going to stay green flag racing. Josh Parrish alongside Alex Great. And you've got Landon Huffman alongside Trevor Edwards fighting for 3rd place. It looks like Great is going to get cleared. Trevor Edwards clears Huffman, so that's going to be 5th place for Edwards. But the wreck in turns 3 and 4. Lots of drivers involved in that one. That is going to be Crow. It looks like Cade Green. 12th caution of the night. We're going to be less than 10 to go once we go green flag racing again. But it looks like, yeah, just a little bit of impatience there from Grout. And drivers just getting a little bit run over there, trying to see if they're trying to, like, not having a lot of reaction time. So 11 to go right now. Some drivers making some moves here in the top 10. We see Dave Bishner moving up into 9th for the first time here today. That's his highest spot for the day. We'll see if he can continue that climb. Colin Ullman is into 8th. We see Kyle Terzak into 7th, and then Sean Hayes back into the top 10. He's got Justin Crowe behind, and RJ Williams as well. But outside of those 12, everybody else is damaged. They're going to be at least a lap down. Those cars really beat up throughout the field. So we'll see what's going to happen in the final laps. I mean, we got overtime if we need it. We'll see if we're going to use it. We'll be going green flag racing, I think, with 7 or 6 to go. So if we can try and keep green, you know the drivers want to try and be able to get that last little run, especially if you're like Thronberg or Greats or Parrish. You want to try and compete for that lead, for that race win. Trevor Edwards wants to try and get up there, but I don't think 6 laps is going to be enough time to get there. But here we go. Lights are off on the pace truck, signifying 1 to go. But we will be going green with actually 7 laps remaining. Mike Ashby, Blake Thronberg, Braxton DeGuise. Okay, he is going around for, I guess, for a wave around. So it looks like because of that, we are actually getting a delayed green. Yeah, you still see here on the flag cam that Barney the flagman still has that yellow out. We will go 1 more lap around. Just to make sure the field is all set. Braxton DeWeese coming back around. You can see RJ Williams, the 44, but he's lagging back a little bit to let him around. A couple cars still down pit road. Dylan Williams, the newest one on pit road. It looks like Jake Grout is also on pit road. So here we go. Green flag is up, waiting for the pace truck to come down, and then the field is on the hands of Mike Ashby. 6 to go this time. Green flag is waving as he gets the jump. Off into turn 1 we go. He's going to be clear of Thronberg, and it's going to be Greats and Thronberg side by side fighting for second. That's exactly what you want to see if you are the 2 car. It's going to allow you to at least create a little bit of a gap, get a little bit comfortable distance, be able to hold on to this lead now. 5 to go as, wow! Alex Greats does a barrel roll on the outside wall of turn 1. And I don't know how that happened the way it did. We've seen many cars go side by side through turn 1 and 2 all night. Nobody's been sent to the outside wall like that. I am speechless, honestly, for that wreck. Let's go back here and see that. We're going to watch that in slow-mo. That was, I believe, the 50. Was it the 51? No, sorry, it was Thronberg. We're going to slow that down here. And then I want to ride on board with the 9 car. You can see, so it looks like he's self-cleared. It's hard to tell. He very much was not clear, but it seems like he thought he might have been as he sent that car, and then nothing I mean, there's nothing Grace can do from there as he becomes just a missile into the outside wall. Go take a look again here, this time on board with Greats. Hopefully nobody gets motion sickness here as he's going to do a quick flip. He sticks landing at least, but yeah, the engine dies there. That is his night. But that is just insane how that happened. Thought he was going to be fine. They were doing some good racing earlier, and then all of a sudden, not clear. So now we're gonna go to overtime, and would you believe it or not, the 32 starting on the outside this time around. So Mike Ashby probably was feeling pretty good there for a little bit. The side-by-side racing behind allowed him to get comfortable, create some distance, and due to that wreck, Trevor Edwards gains 2 free spots, so he's up into second place. And so we'll see if he can get back into victory lane for the 4th time this season, or if we will crown another race winner. Like Ashby, Josh Parrish, Kyle Terjak, Landon Huffman. Those are your top 5, all eligible for a race win. Could be anybody, honestly, depending on what chaos happens. We've seen lots of incidents now happen from the front of the field. We're getting ready to go green flag. This time around, the first of our overtime attempts. We have 3 overtime attempts. We'll see how many we're going to need, but pace truck is going to be off. Mike Ashby, is he going to try and go right away? Is he going to wait? Trevor Edwards tries to time it. Goes a little too early, almost gets a push there from the 51. Side by side as we go through turns 1 and 2. It's going to be almost clear here for Ashby. He will be clear, but here comes Trevor Edwards trying to charge the outside. Going to look for the crossover. Caution is out. We're going to go to our second overtime. That is going to be Leon Keniston that got turned around. That car just has seen much better days. That right front is completely broken at this point. Not sure what had brought that out. Maybe just tight racing, but let's go take a look here at the 32 machine. There's just a tag, gets hit from the 19, a little tap there from the 6. Wasn't expecting the checkup. And that's pretty much all she wrote from there. End of story there for the 93. Hopefully you guys are enjoying tonight's race. All these races here from the AMA can be found over on our YouTube channel, Racing Lights Productions. We have a whole playlist, so if you've missed any races prior to tonight, you can go check those out over there, and you can watch basically everything all the way up to tonight's race. The only one you'll miss, unfortunately, North Wilkesboro. We were not able to broadcast that last week, but next week, like I said at the top of the broadcast, due to my own personal work schedule, I will not be able to broadcast that race. So make sure you go check out iRace AMA on Twitter, or you can check the American Motorsports Association on Facebook. They might be trying to get that broadcasted. That way we can still have all these races broadcasted for you guys to watch. Excuse me. But we will be back here on this channel in 2 weeks, when we have our second Dash for Cash race at Rockingham Speedway. So next week, the qualifier at Lanier. It looks like we're going to have 2 to go, though. Make sure you guys stick around post-race for post-race interviews with our top 3 finishers, and I'm sure they are going to have lots to say after tonight's race. It has been a mixed bag of things, but you can see a lot of cars. We started with 21. We're definitely not finishing with 21. We are down to 14 cars on track at this point, but going double file. Looks like we're going to go green flag racing. So overtime attempt number 2. Let's see if we can take the white flag and make it official. Probably the only clean car on track. The driver of the number 2, Mike Ashby, in control of the field. And he's going to go pretty early this time. He tried to hold up Trevor Edwards last time. He gets the jump, and Edwards is going to send it hard on the outside line. Can't get there far enough as he's almost clear on the inside, but he's going to be alongside still. At the door, and caution is out again. Big wreck further behind. Fifteenth caution of the night after a long green flag run. The driver's definitely not happy, but this wreck, a huge one. probably finishing some nights for some of these guys. Let's take a look here and see what caused this caution. Driver radio got very active after that wreck. Sean Hayes just takes out Bishner, and he goes for a couple flips there. I'm not sure what Sean Hayes was doing. We'll go back and watch that again, and let's do a closer look at Sean Hayes. But my goodness, just absolutely sends it down on the 3. They're coming up on Bishner here. Getting ready to go into turn 3. And he just like straight up ignores the fact that he's there and sends him to the inside wall. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on the inside of the 99 there, but an interesting move. And now, just for fun, let's go take a look on board here. This is Dave Bishner. We watch Alex Greats do a flip. Let's go watch him do about 3 here as he got launched off that outside wall. Jeez. This will be our last. It was the car legal this time. I know. Looking at all these cars, I don't know if any of these cars are legal at this point. Landon hopping in. We actually have a bunch of drivers coming in. Yeah, coming into chat here. Sorry, I'm just checking the chat for the first time, but a lot of you guys, I know it's a very frustrating race for you guys. It's unfortunate the way some of you guys have finished. Huffman's still on track, though. He is in 6th place, so we'll see if he can find his way to the front, maybe even get another spot or 2. At least get into the top 5, maybe even on the podium. Ashby, though, looking to get his first race win. He's holding off against the most winningest driver, the winningest driver in the AMA, Trevor Edwards. This is our final restart in overtime. A big jump, almost a false start there from the 32. I'm not sure if that is a legal move there. It almost might have been a little bit too early of a jump, but we're going to stay green flag. Can we get to the white? Can we make it official? Or are we going to finish under the caution? Mike Ashby coming around. He is going to be ahead of Trevor Edwards, still just slightly ahead by a nose. We are going to go to the white. It is official from here, 2x2 all the way through the field. It's going to be Mike Ashby making contact there with Trevor Edwards. They're going to be almost door to door. Edwards going to see if he can hold up a little bit, get a little bit of a run on the exit. It's not going to be enough by almost a car length. It's going to be Mike Ashby getting his first race win of the season. What a run there by the 2. Lots of patience earlier throughout the run. Got to the front and just was able to hold that nice and steady. But man, it wasn't easy. Trevor Edwards put up quite the fight to get back to the front. So let's go take a look through our finishing order for tonight. Quite the race it was. Lots of chaos. 16 cautions, if I'm remembering correctly. I kind of lost count after a while, but taking a look through the field here, Mike Ashby takes the win, his first of the season. Less than a tenth away, Trevor Edwards. Kyle Terjak in 3rd, rounding out the podium. Colin Ullman in 4th. Josh Parrish takes top 5. Going outside of the top 5, Landon Huffman in 6th. Braxton DeWeese in 7th. Justin Crow in 8th. RJ Williams somehow, after flipping on his hood, finishes in 9th place. Blake Thronberg rounds out the top 10. Sean Hayes in 11th. Spencer Dickinson, the first car lap down in 12th. Cade Green in 13th. Dave Bishner in 14th. Leon Kennist in 15th. Alex Greats 16th. Jake Grout 17th. Dylan Williams 18th. 19th, Justin Brooks. 20th, Chase Robertson, and Aaron Johnson rounded out the field for tonight. So he had a really early finish of tonight's race, but we will get in our top 3. Great race, though, all around. I mean, a little bit chaos at the end. You hate to see how it finished, but it was good racing from our top 3 drivers. We're going to get our first of 3 in. The driver who finished in 3rd last week was the Hard Charger. Oh, hang on. Maybe I can't get him in here. Give me 1 second. You have to give me a quick moment trying to get something sorted. For some reason, I'm not able to pull the drivers. I don't know what happened there. I might have to hop down with them. We'll have to wait and see. My apologies for the delay here for the interviews. We will get them going here in just a moment. But some next week, as I said, we go to Lanier, and then after that, Rockingham. All right, so here we go. Now we've got him in the booth. Sorry for the delay, but driver of the 51 car, Kyle, and I hope I said your last name correctly. Is it Terzak? Oh, hang on. There we go. Now I've got you here. So sorry, Kyle. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Am I?
It's Terzak.
Oh, I was close. I was close.
Yeah.
But congratulations on the third place. It was a little bit of a messy drive throughout that because you had to go through the back a couple times there, working your way through the field. Last week were the hard charger. You almost were this week. Missed it out by one position, but that was quite the drive you had here on track.
Yeah, definitely. How to start from the back. I just started just saving tires. That's all you have to do really. In these cars, I just save tires, and I think about lap 50, I was up to 10th, and I was like, okay, I'm in a pretty good spot right here. And then I think I got up to 5th by like lap 75. We had a few cautions, and we had that big scenario right there when Brooks I think got doored by Trevor right there, and we were all 4 wide. Honestly, I didn't even know we were 4. I thought, honestly, they were going to be a lot slower than that. So I stuck my nose down there just to see if I can get at least 1 spot out of it, if not 2, because I know they were close to wrecking up there, but that wasn't the case, and we were 4 wide, so I had to go back to the rear, and I just fought my way through up there. I think I could have got P2 if I can get a little bit better start. But yeah, congratulations to Ashby. Had really fun.
Yeah, going back to that big wreck, that 4 wide, we looked at it a couple times on the broadcast, and it looked like, just as you described, it almost seemed like the way you approached that, it was they were going to lose more speed, but unfortunately, just you got caught up in it. And going throughout this race, I mean, these bull rings are tough. This isn't really a bull ring, but it's closer to it than what we've had past couple weeks. But there's not a lot of reaction time. We saw that throughout the race. Lots of drivers getting involved in incidents here and there. But given the state of your car, because you got yourself involved throughout the race, how was it handling? Was it still able to like drive as fast as it was at the beginning of the race?
Definitely not. I think I had my toes knocked out a little bit, so that hurt me quite a bit. But yeah, I just think these A-pillars are so big in these cars. I mean, you can't really see anything. Like when you're starting from 5th, I can't even see the leader launch. Um, yeah, it's just.
Wait, we lost Kyle there for a second. Hold on. We'll see if we can get him back here. Give me one moment, guys. There we go. Sorry, Kyle. Didn't mean to get you switched out there.
No problem. Yeah, these A-pillars are so big. Yeah, you can't really do anything. But yeah, it's just us thing. Tyler did a great job tonight. It's just us that we need to get a little bit more. Get a little bit more professional. I think we would have been fine right there, but reaction times. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a rough race all around for everybody. But sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Before I have you head on out though, from tonight's race, you 4th place last week, 3rd place tonight. Hopefully we can see either 2nd place or victory lane next week at Lanier, maybe even fighting for the dash or cash of Rockingham. But before you head on out for tonight, anybody you would like to thank? Anything else you would like to say?
Oh, definitely. I just want to thank Zeem Soap Shop. There's no speed like Zeem's. This is actually our set from Sarah. So that was a couple months ago. So I just put it on there and it felt great. Also, I want to thank Justin Brooks Designs for the amazing paint. Uh, Unfortunate that he got caught up in that incident, but still makes great wraps. If you need a wrap, go to him. Tyler for hosting. I know it was a lot tonight, and he ended it well. Yeah, and like I said, Jazim Setup Shop and all those guys back in the setup area. Yeah.
All right. Well, Kyle, it was a great race for you, and we hope to see you up here again next week. Congratulations on your third place. Now we have the driver of the 32, Trevor Edwards. And Trevor, you put up quite the fight there at the end. Didn't think I was going to see you up there fighting after being back in sixth place, but that wreck between it was Alex Grates and Blake Thronberg found you 2 free spots and found you on the front row on the restart again.
Yeah, I thought we might be able to have something for him right there at the end, but it was just too tight and had some toe damage from that earlier crash getting into 3. When I smacked the fence, it made it look like it probably had like 10 degrees offset. It just was way too tight after that.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, still really good race. That outside line, you were able to push it really well. For as much as the car got beat up, you carried a lot of pace out there. But I want to go back to the incident between you and Justin Brooks. Talk us through what happened there, because it looked like you guys just kind of met in the same space and he got turned around. That was pretty much what ended his race.
Yeah, me and Brooks were actually just watching it in Discord a second ago. It was a lot of netcode on entry. We're running each other tight, and I don't know, for some reason, like we never touched on my screen or his, but it turned him to the left like he got hit like really hard in the right front. So then he chased up the track, got into me, and then I thought he got hit from behind. That's what it looked like on my screen as it was happening. And then went down into 3, and we have no common sense. We're just going to bury it off 4 wide, I guess. And like I said, another week, another time getting wrecked from the lead, I guess.
So is that, because I know last week you finished second place to Colin. Is that what happened last week? Did you get into an incident?
Yeah, the 13 Greats, he's got really good short run speed, and on a restart, he just, instead of trying to pass me with some common sense, he just drove through me. Got himself wrecked more, but it gave the lead to Colin similar as it did to Ashby tonight, where was in the lead, got sideways, and I don't know if it counts you as part of the caution or what, but it gives the lead away. So once you lose the lead deep into a race, it's pretty tough to get it back on with all these 2-3 lap runs.
Yeah, we've seen that, because I remember even back to Hickory when you got moved by RS Center. He was able to hold on to that lead, just couldn't seem to get that car back to the front the same way that you did earlier. But as you said, the short runs, these 2-3 lap runs, really, really difficult. But hey, you were able to make the most of a bad situation, that's for sure. Able to bring that car back. And next week, Lanier, maybe see you fighting for that Dash for Cash again. You won the first one. You think we're going to see you running with that opportunity to get that extra $100 at Rockingham?
I sure hope so. Lanier's probably my favorite track on the sim, especially with this car. I won the SARA race there in the season, and I think we were at one point like the top 5 in that race. Like, we have a really good car, really good package for there, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we don't get wrecked out of the lead like we have every other week, but if not, it looks like we'll win, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the shop guys are pretty good next week. I know Brooks, hopefully he comes back. It's fun having really good competition. Tonight's SOF was like a 4,500, so I mean, it was a pretty stacked field. Hopefully a lot of these guys come back and we can put on a proper show instead of this goofball racing we're doing the second half of the weeks.
Yeah, hopefully things straighten up and we can get things cleaned up. Rockingham at least will be, should be a lot cleaner since it is a much bigger track. But before you head on out, anybody you'd like to thank? Anything else you would like to say?
I have to start off and say thank you to Tyler Hilton for putting this league on. I know it's super aggravating, especially nights like tonight where the race goes good and it just turns into a crap show at the end. But I do appreciate his patience and his willingness to try to make this league work. Hugh for broadcasting it. Like I said, it's probably fun the first half of the race, not so much fun the second half lately. Everybody at the shop, Cottle Captures, Elite Performance Industries, if you need a setup that's bad fast, you know where to get them. Justin Brooks, who raced tonight, actually, he's the one who paints my cars. He did a great job on the car. He did a great job tonight in the race. It's just bad luck. But just want to appreciate everybody for doing what they do.
All right. Well, thank you again for hopping into the booth. Always a pleasure talking with you, Trevor. And good luck next week. Hopefully, you don't get turned out of the lead if you get up there. So we'll see how you do at Lanier.
Yep, we'll see you, buddy. Thank you.
No problem. And so that was Trevor Edwards, driver of the 32 machine. So now we're going to bring up your race winner. First time going into victory lane this season, the number 2, Mike Ashby. And Mike, congratulations on that race win. That was a heck of a drive you had to put on there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good car all night. I think we had the fastest lap of the whole But yeah, I just gotta thank Justin Brooks for that setup. I mean, we were on a roll. It was a little tight, and then we ended up getting hit in the rear end, and it kind of skewed the rear end a bit, and we actually got a lot of rotation from that and picked up a bit. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
we had quite a race. It was eventful, but just glad to keep it in the front and then put her in victory lane.
Well, it was phenomenal driving and looking at your car. I mean, you were maybe other than you and Josh Parrish, I think you guys were the only two drivers coming away with a clean car tonight. And I mean, going throughout the race, how did you manage to stay out of all the wreckage, out of all the carnage?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just knowing who's who and how they race, and I just tried to get in the right spot at the right time, and you seen that when I dove to the apron and got the lead and never looked back.
It was a smart move, though. And taking a look throughout the last, I believe it was last 2 or 3 restarts, actually, I think it was all of the overtime restarts, you had Trevor Edwards on your outside. What was your strategy to keep him out there or to try and stay ahead? Because he had a lot of pace. We've seen him make moves all throughout the race, managed to get back up to second due to an incident. But what was going through inside the car of the two, inside the 2 car to be able to stay ahead of him there at the end of the race?
Yeah, I mean, really, I didn't want to keep him on the outside because the top was rolling all night. Really, Colin, he was insane on the top. I mean, I couldn't do nothing with him. But yeah, I just wanted to get in front and try to pull away, but I didn't want to give him the chance to cross me over at the same time. So I don't know, just kind of trying to pick when to go and when to keep him out there.
I was wondering if you were trying to prevent the crossover because he made that move. I think it was on Justin earlier, or maybe it was you. He went for the crossover because one of you guys let him. You got ahead of him, but then he was able to dive the inside into like turn 1 or something, and then there was kind of game over from there. But hey, it was a phenomenal drive from you. You kept the car clean for the most part. We're able to come away with the victory here tonight, your first one on the season, and looking forward next week, Lanier. Dash for Cash qualifier. If you can get in the top 4, find yourself fighting for $100 at Rockingham, which would be awesome. But before I have you head on out to celebrate your win, anybody you would like to thank? Anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, just thinking RKM Setup Shop, Justin Brooks Designs, Justin Brooks Setup Shop now, Patriot Media, DriverTees.com, Dalton Strum Photography. I mean, all the guys that help out.
All right, well, thank you for joining me up here in the booth. Mike, congratulations on that race win. It was quite the drive you had, and maybe we'll see you up in victory lane again here soon.
Yes, sir. I hope so. Thank you.
All right, so with all that being said, that was one heck of a race. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And unfortunately, like I said, next week we will not be able to bring the race to you here on our channel, but make sure you go check out American Motorsports Association, iRace AMA over on Twitter, or you can follow them over on Facebook. If they are getting the race broadcast, they will post out there on Facebook and Twitter about that. But congratulations again to Mike Ashby for winning the American Motorsports Association's SoBo 150, his first win on the season. Make sure you join us in 2 weeks here as we have the race at Rockingham, which will be our second Dash for Cash race of the season. I want to thank the AMA for allowing us to bring this race to all of you. Be sure to check out Racing Lights Productions on Twitter with @RacingLightsPro, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. You can also head over to the YouTube channel to check out any previous broadcasts that you may have missed. I'm Alex Light saying good night to you from the virtual South Boston Speedway. Thanks again for tuning in.